Today, I close out $100,000 in profits, mainly on Tesla and Apple, and we have actually achieved the $1 million realized profits year to date so far. And before we go any further, none of this is to show you guys how great I am or to brag about it, right? Like, I've been doing this for 9 years, and if you're doing something that long and you're actually trying, you should be good at it. The whole point that I make these videos each and every single day is to show you guys that I am not special. I am just where you were. About 5.5 years ago, my first 5 years of trading, I'm coming up on 10 years. First 5 years of trading, I could barely make $2,000 a month consistently. I would continue to blow up my accounts, not understand proper risk management. I would stop out of all of my trades. For instance, what has recently happened with Tesla and watching all of that manipulation last week, back then I would have gotten stopped out on this pullback. And so, what I try to do every day here on YouTube and specifically on X as well, my goal is to help you guys understand when those shakeouts are real and how to not get caught up in that because trading is so hard. Like, it is so hard. And people don't understand that feeling of always being late on a trade or getting stopped out or having your account, like, that is a part of the process and that's a part of the game. And that's what I want to show you guys is the realistic aspects of this each and every single day. It's why I post every single day, win or lose. And so now let's get into Tesla because there's some news that came out today that helped to push the stock up. Today we had a massive day. I ended up closing out my calls. I had June calls and I had July calls for Tesla. I ended up taking profits on those. And what I did was I actually rolled it out into an August call. I still think Tesla is going to move in the next couple of weeks and months, at least back up to $200. But the reason that I ended up closing these July calls is simply because the position that I had open had gotten too big. So my gross profit and loss on this trade was $32,600. My adjusted cost, which means how much money I spent on this trade, was $79,000. So at this point today, this, what was an $80,000 position is now up to $130,000, $140,000. And we're getting closer and closer to expiration. So what I did was I closed out that position and I actually also closed out my other position on Tesla, which was these June 21st calls. I closed these out. Could have got a little more out of it, but I closed both of them out just because of the expiration date. I still think that Tesla can push through 190, and I think that there's a very good chance that we can move back up into the $200 range that we were talking about earlier. So I still want upside exposure, but I don't want to be carrying too big of a position relative to my portfolio. And more importantly, I don't want to be carrying a position that is going to only increase in theta decay the closer and closer that we get towards our expiration. If you guys don't know about theta decay or how to trade options, I highly recommend that you take our free options course, which we will link in the description. So I called it out to our Discord community. I said that I was going to be taking profit on July calls and that I was going to roll them over. So now I am currently in Tesla August 16th, $190 calls. And so if we go over here and take a look at that position, we can go into my open trades and you're going to see that I'm currently holding $150,000 worth of Tesla calls expiring in August. So I'm still very bullish on Tesla, but I wanted to roll it out to a more optimal contract. Now, another reason, and I posted this within our Discord community, that I decided to continue to hold on to my Tesla position, but just push it back a little bit further is because of all of the unusual options flow that was coming in today. If we look at Tesla and we go to our options side, you're going to see that we had $30 million worth of Tesla calls. I actually think that my face is in front of it. Yeah, there we go. So at the bottom left, we had $30 million worth of Tesla calls that came through today. All of these unusual alerts hit what's called an alpha gold alert. So an alpha gold alert is one of the strongest alerts. It's basically when we see a ton of buying, different contracts, has to be hit by a certain volume threshold, has to be hit by a certain dollar threshold. So these are only orders that are massive, that have size, have time, and have urgency behind it. So when we see Tesla approaching a major resistance point like this, we have a fundamental reason for the stock to continue to run. And on top of that, we also have big money who's actually buying this time I think we're at least going to see another 7% move up to $200. Don't forget to take advantage of all of our free courses. They are all down below, and we are adding one to the platform each and every single month. If you want to learn the exact strategy that I used to make $600,000 in the first 6 months, which now is up to $1 million in realized profits, which is just it's just insane. Like I literally was on food stamps 5.5 years ago. I was on government insurance 5.5 years ago. Like I had nothing to my name. I had just blown up my trading account and I was so close to quitting. And like I say a lot of the times, I'm not special. Like I'm not doing anything different here. If we look at what I've done over the past 2 weeks versus what I did back in January, it's the same exact thing, it's the same exact patterns, it's the same exact plays, right? And I want you to understand that. That's the most important thing. And I think that what really kept me going here, because our strategy is so simple. I literally teach it for free in that course down below. But what isn't simple is understanding that you have to stick to the strategy long enough. What's not simple is hitting a losing streak and not giving up. What's not simple is hitting a losing streak and not over leveraging yourself and losing all of your money. Those things are not simple, and your average person is not used to getting kicked in the teeth, and they're more importantly not used to trying something for a very long time and not making money. And I really think that the reason that I'm able to do this is because I never gave up. And the reason I never gave up was because personally, I would have rather been homeless and I would have rather lived in my van and I would have rather lived on a friend's couch chasing this, chasing what I think is freedom for me, right? It's all different for all of us, but chasing my vision of freedom than just going and getting a job. And I'm not against that. But that's for me. My heart wasn't in any job that I had ever had. I'm a convicted felon for 14 grams of marijuana. And so any career path that I wanted at the time was definitely not on the horizon. And so I just wanted to live life by my terms. And I figured that if I fail, I fail. It's whatever. And that's why I continued. It was why I was able to go 5 years without seeing a profit, was because I was living like a bum and just taking everything I had, all the time I had, all the energy I had, and put it towards developing myself as a trader and developing myself as a man. And I think that that's the part that gets lost here, is that yes, the trading is easy, but having discipline is not easy. Understanding how the market works and how manipulation works is not easy. You have hedge funds where their only job is to manipulate things and take your money, take retail money. And so at the end of the day, if you're losing money right now, it's probably not your fault. But if you don't learn from that, if you can't continue to move forward from that, then you're never going to make it. And so to wrap this up, guys, you need to have patience over anything. And honestly, you need to have 10 times the amount of patience that you actually think you need to have. As always, guys, I hope that this video helped. Go ahead and check out all of our free resources down below. And if you want to trade with me every day in our private academy, I will link it down below. Thanks for all the support, guys. I'll see you next time.